Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with our first session. I welcome you all to this JavaScript in 30 days session. Quick introduction about myself. Many of you already know, many of you have already done some courses from me in the past, but someone new. So I'll just give a short introduction. This is Ajit More, your software trainer, as well as I'm a freelance developer since 28 years. From 1998, I'm into this field. I've done training for colleges also, corporates also, and even for different training centers. Okay. And I'm mainly into programming languages. I've published some books as well, and I help people to enter into the corporate world. Okay. So let's start with this. I'm sure you are excited to learn this. And along with that, I'm super excited to teach you. Okay. So quickly, what we'll do is we will go into the modules part. What all modules we are going to cover in this? That a brief idea I give you. And then we will start discussing each thing one by one. Okay. So in that first phase, we'll be doing all fundamental things. Fundamental things like what is JavaScript, then comparing JavaScript with Java, little bit history about JavaScript, and the elementary programming concepts like data type, identifiers, right? Operators, control flow and all, if else, switch case, loops and all. So all those basic things we will cover in this first module, that is foundation and core syntax, understanding the foundational mechanism and mastering the basic building blocks. Now, basic building blocks are identifiers, keywords, operators. Then, using operators, we'll write expressions, then blocks. Then, we will be writing control flow like if else, loops, and all. So, all these are basic things. Okay. While learning this, we'll be solving a lot of exercises also. Don't worry. Then, we will dive into phase two. Here, some more things like functional programming, how to write functions and all. Then some data structures like string, then array, all that we'll learn. Date, math, all those concepts, add-on things we'll learn. And some new features of ES6. So data structures and modern ES6, processing data structures efficiently. Now, in this data structure, as I said, we'll be learning array, strings. Okay. Even I'll tell you about math object, date object. Okay. And writing expressive modern code using ECMS script 2015 standard. Now, what is ECMS script and all? We'll come to it. Now, I'm coming to the history part and all. So, in that, I'll tell you. Then, in phase three, some more concepts we have to learn which are more towards modern JavaScript. That is from 2015 JavaScript. It is called as ECMS 6 standard and afterwards. Okay. So mainly we will deal in this phase three related to browser, how to interact with your web page. Now, if you have created a web page, so how to fetch the values from that input elements, how to runtime update the values from the web page. Okay. So we'll be interacting with the web page and through JavaScript, how dynamically we will be updating the page or whatever page you have made, how the part of that page will be changing. Okay. So that is called a DOM manipulation. And here also a lot of good exercises we will solve. Okay. DOM is called as document object model. So how whatever HTML page you design, how we can extract the values of paragraphs, text boxes, okay, and runtime changing the part of the web page, right? And browser APIs interfacing with the browser rendering engine to build interactive state-driven user interfaces. So how to deal with this web pages and how to dynamically change the part of the web pages. Getting so that mainly here we'll be focusing. And phase four is more towards modern part modern JavaScript, like what is async, wait, promises, functional programming. Okay, using functional programming, how the coding becomes lesser. Okay, and we will be dealing with how to access external APIs, like example, like weather API or many other, like currency API and all. So there are different platforms which give their values to us, and how through JavaScript APIs we can fetch that values and show it in our websites or in our applications. So all that we'll be learning here. So advanced concepts and asynchronous JavaScript. Here, even we'll be learning about object-oriented programming, like how modern Java has introduced very much like Java programming. You can write classes, inheritance. Okay, so that all, and asynchronously how to access values from the remote place. Like if there is a weather website which provides everything about the weather, so we can ask the information to them, we can fetch the values from them and show it in our applications. So how to use those APIs, all we will be learning. Getting? So these are main four things. Now don't ask for React framework. It is a separate course. Okay. Now those who are my full stack Java students, for them it is already included. Okay. So that will be again separate course of React framework. Learning React framework is totally a complete separate part. You cannot mix up with this. Here, mainly we are learning JavaScript. And if your JavaScript is perfect, you can dive into React framework. Okay. And those who want to learn Angular, then you have to learn TypeScript. Okay. And TypeScript is the strict version of JavaScript. So I hope, in short, the module ideas you have got. The main four modules, what we'll be learning. Okay. So just give me quick confirmation. General idea about four modules. In the phase one, the basics of JavaScript. Phase two, some data structures part like arrays and strings and all those things. Phase three will be dealing with web page dynamically, how you can fetch the values and you can update the web page. Okay, how to interact, event handling and all, how to handle the events, all that in phase three, and all the modern JavaScript features like async, wait, promises, all that part in Java 4, and APIs, how to access, how to use external APIs, and through that API, how to access the value, show it in our JavaScript applications. Okay, so that in phase 4 will come. So can you give me quick confirmation, guys, so that we can move ahead, because lot things you have to learn.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Tanishka
sir,
is
got it.
giving confirmation. Now we'll start with our actual course, right? The first thing, that is what is JavaScript. So you can say JavaScript is an interpreted, high level, dynamically typed, loosely typed, multi paradigm, general purpose programming language. Now, all these terminologies, one by one, I'll tell you, don't worry. Each and every terminology, in short, I'll explain. Many of you are already from computer background, so it will be quite easy to understand. But as I said, it is high level, it is interpreted, it is multi paradigm, it is general purpose, it is dynamically typed, and it is loosely typed programming language. Getting? And I hope what are programming languages, what we speak, that is called as natural language, and language of machines, right? Is called as a artificial language, or we call it as formal languages. So programming languages come under formal or artificial language. So JavaScript is that one type of language. Now, all those terminologies I'll tell you, don't worry. What I've listed here, that it is a high level programming language, interpreted, multi paradigm. What is paradigm? What is multi paradigm? Everything I'll tell you, don't worry. Dynamically typed, loosely typed, general purpose programming language, and its main goal was to make websites dynamic. But today, that is not the only goal remaining. JavaScript also has penetrated in nearly every area. Initially, when JavaScript came, its main purpose was to make your websites dynamic and interactive. Getting interactive and dynamic websites. I hope you know it. The websites whose page content is not always fixed. On the user login, it may change. The user input, it may change. Like registration pages, if you consider movie ticket, airline ticket, train ticket. So what inputs you give, accordingly, the responses are different. E-commerce website, if you go, you select the brand, then you select the gender, you select price range. Accordingly, do the products change? Yes, the products don't remain same. So those are dynamic websites. They're not static. The content of the page changes on fly, on client request, on client input, on who is logged in. Based on that, the content can change. So initially, its application was this, but now JavaScript has entered in nearly every field. That is what in 2026, in top five languages, JavaScript is treated along with Python. Even Java has gone down in the rank, but JavaScript has taken the more popularity. If you learn only one JavaScript, the server side, client side, both, you'll still be called as a full stack developer. Getting? Okay. So all these terms we'll discuss one by one. What is high level? High level, why we should say? Because it is more close to human spoken language. That is English. As we express anything in English, like as I express in English, like if this, then do this, else do this, or repeat this until so and so condition. Or as you write expressions in algebra, A equal to B into C divided by. So as you write expressions in algebra, same way you can write expressions. So it is more closer to English like language. That is one thing. And you don't have to deal with the hardware. You don't have to bother about the memory configurations and dealing with the registers and flags and all. Everything is taken care by some other system. You just have to bother about writing programs. So a lot of abstraction is there. Abstraction meaning a lot of things are kept hidden. The machine level things are kept hidden. You just have to bother about writing programs. And those programs are also very much close to English like. Okay. So that is the reason we call it as high level. So abstract hardware details. When you write a high level program, you don't bother about the hardware details. Those who are from electronics and all background, they might be knowing, like if you have written some programs for microprocessors or microcontrollers, we need to know that microcontroller or microprocessor configurations also while writing those assembly programs and all. So abstract meaning, I hope everything is kept hidden. You don't bother and allows developer to write code in a human friendly way. As I said, no, as we write in English, if this is the condition, I'll do this, else I'll do something. Or as I write in algebra expressions, same way I'm going to write expressions. Getting? So that is first point. At any point, if you have a doubt, you can ask me. Initial first lecture will be a little bit theoretical. Once this all basic theory concepts are clear, then we will be diving into the programming part. Second is the language is interpreted. Okay, now what do you mean by that? That too I'll tell you. First, remember, you people are writing code in high level language, isn't it, guys? You are writing program in high level, but your machine, that is your CPU, who runs the code, execution of the code is done by CPU, isn't it? CPU does the execution. Okay. So CPU understands its own native language, that is machine level, isn't it? Zeros and ones. It's called as a binary language or machine's native language. For our convenience, we introduce this high level language. It is for our convenience. It's very difficult to deal with machine. Therefore, by evolution, these high-level languages came for our ease. But still, for today's day also, computer cannot understand your language, isn't it? So you have to translate your language into computer understandable form. So there are two ways of translation. And to do this, we need a translator. Okay, there will be a translator which will take your high level code, check whether it is grammatically correct, that is syntactically correct. If no, it will tell you the errors. Okay, if there are errors, no, it will translate it into machine code. That machine code will be given to the underlying CPU for execution, right? Now, this translation mechanism is of two types. One is compilation. Many languages are compiled, like you take old Pascal, you take or C, C++, even you take COBOL. These are all old languages which are compiled language. Now, compiled means what? It takes the entire high level language code. In the whole program, it searches for the error. If there are, it will tell you all the errors with the line number. And if there are no errors in your source code, it will translate the whole code into machine code. You will get a machine code file. You get a executable file. And that file you can load in memory for execution any number of times. चाहिए उतनी बार आप ये exe मेमोरी में लोड कर सकते हो और रन कर सकते हैं. बट ये ट्रांसलेशन मैकेनिज्म कैसे है? पूरा प्रोग्राम ट्रांसलेट होगा. It takes the entire high level code, finds the error in it, tells you errors along with the line number. And if there are no errors, okay, it will translate it into machine code. You get a file, you can load that file, and the CPU will run it. Next time, if you want to run the same file, you can load. You get an executable file. Second way of translation is interpretation. Here, what is done, the source code is taken, but it will not convert the whole source code into machine code. Understanding, guys? It will statement by statement translate into machine code. It will take a statement, okay, and then that statement is checked for errors in that statement only. It is not bothered about the remaining program. If that statement is having an error, it will give you error and halt over there. But if the program is syntactically correct, that statement is syntactically correct, it will convert to machine code and immediately execute it. Again, the next line, translate, execute. Statement by statement is going on. It is not translating the whole code. And here, that machine code file is not generated. That machine code is in a memory only. The program is over, that machine code is lost from the memory. Getting? So that is interpretation. JavaScript follows interpretation policy. JavaScript is not following compilation. It is interpretation. And its interpreter is already incorporated in the browser. That is the very fascinating thing about JavaScript. If you are running client-side JavaScript, server-side JavaScript, then you need a node application whose job is to do the same thing, translation only, translating JavaScript code into machine code and executing. But that engine is on the server side. And client-side engine is already incorporated in the browser. It's already there in the browser. There are many types of engines. Getting? We'll be learning. Like in some they are V8, then Monkey, then Chakra, many are there. I'll be telling you. Different browsers have that engines. But what is the job of that engine, which is incorporated in the browser only? Take the JavaScript code, statement by statement, check whether it is grammatically correct. If yes, translate to machine code, execute. It is already done in the browser. There is a JavaScript engine which is incorporated in the browser only, and it will only do the execution. It will take the statement, translate, execute. Take the statement, translate, execute. So it follows interpretation policy. Getting? Now, I'll not go into too much detail because what we actually want to learn will lag. What you have to do as the extra work, you have to find out what are the pros and cons of interpretation policy and compilation policy. Okay, so JavaScript is interpreted, Python is interpreted, PHP is interpreted. These are all interpreted languages. Some are hybrid. They follow both compile and interpretation. Getting best example is Java or .NET framework if you take. In .NET framework also the same. It entirely compiles, then you get bytecodes called as assemblies, and then they are converted into machine code. JavaScript follows interpretation. So only remember that JavaScript takes your JavaScript interpreter, or you call it as JavaScript engine, will take your JavaScript code statement by statement, check whether there is an error. No, translate to machine code, execute. Getting? Okay. See, code is executed directly by the browser or a runtime environment. It's called as a virtual machine, which is already incorporated in your browser. But if you're doing it client-side JavaScript, server-side JavaScript, there is a node application, which is also a runtime environment. Now you'll say, what is speciality of runtime? Runtime environment not only does the translation of your code to machine code and give it to the CPU for running. It does many other work like memory allocation, garbage collection, scheduling, lot of other work are there. So its main work is to take the code and statement by statement run it. Get it? Translate and run. It doesn't follow this compilation step. Means it doesn't take the entire code and translate it into machine code and then you run it. It does statement by statement. And this translation is already incorporated in the browser only. If you are running client side JavaScript, as I said, if there is a server side JavaScript, we have another engine which is there on the server side. Okay? Okay. So these two features, if are clear, then I'll tell you about the other four features. And all these six features makes JavaScript. Okay, so can you give me quick confirmation that is it clear that it is a high level language? Is it clear that it is an interpreted language? Java is compiled and interpreted. JavaScript is only interpreted. Python is only interpreted. PHP is only interpreted. Very old language, basic is only interpreted. C, C++, COBOL, Pascal, they are only compiled like that. Okay? Okay. So can anyone give me confirmation both the terminologies?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Good, very good. Quick confirmations when I get, then it becomes easy also for me, for you to proceed ahead. Next thing I have to tell you about multi-paradigm. First of all, what do you mean by paradigm? Okay, guys, paradigm means methodology of doing anything. It is not like paradigm is applicable only in programming. In real life also, many places, like when mom prepares food, so what type of food she is going to prepare, the methodology will be different. If she is going to make a South Indian food, the methodology will be different. If she is going to make today a continental food, Italian food, so methodology will be different. Chinese food, if she is going to make, the method will be different, right? So that was about the food making process. Same way in you take in a civil engineering field, there they followed different methodologies for different things. If you take electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, everywhere to solve a problem, there are different methodologies. Okay. So in programming also, we have methodologies. They are called as programming paradigms. Programming paradigms means methodology or way of solving problems or writing programs. There are different paradigms in programming, like unstructured coding, structured coding. Okay, but the latest two and the famous one are procedure-oriented coding and object-oriented coding. In procedure-oriented, we just divide the problem into smaller problem. We have a complex problem P, and then we will divide that problem into smaller problem. And then for each small problem, we'll write a function. And then we will call all those functions in a main program. That is one approach. top-down approach. Then there is another approach also, which is more related to human, real life concept, which is based on class and object, where the related data and the related functions are put into a capsule called as a class. We put in a capsule. So that mechanism of putting that related data and functions into a capsule is called as encapsulation, or we can call it as creating class. And once the class is created, you can create objects of it, copies of it. You create a copy of it. So as many copies you want, you can create, and then that copies can interact with each other via methods. Okay, so we'll learn, don't worry. In JavaScript also how to create class, then how to create objects, how to inherit one class from another class, which is a new JavaScript feature. It is added, how we'll learn. So JavaScript supports both the paradigm. Rather, it supports structured coding also. You can write a structured script, procedure-oriented script, object-oriented script. All the paradigms are supported in JavaScript. That's the reason it's called multi-paradigm. Even PHP is also multi-paradigm. Even Python is multi-paradigm. Java cannot be called. Java is a strictly object-oriented. C is strictly a procedure-oriented. But this language is multi-paradigm. So supports various programming paradigms, including object-oriented, procedure-oriented. Now the newer one is called functional program. Many think that procedure-oriented and functional is same. No, guys. Functional is something different. We'll come to it. Don't worry. When we'll learn about arrow functions and lambda functions and all, I'll tell you about functional programming. Then dynamically typed. This is also a very important feature. Please understand it carefully. Generally, languages are static type or dynamic type. Like Java, if you consider Java, if you consider C, C sharp, okay, those are all static type. Python, JavaScript, PHP, they all come under dynamic type. Meaning what? See here, those languages which don't allow to use a variable without declaration. Means a language in which if you want to use a variable, you have to first declare it and then only you can use it. Like Java. Can I use any variable without declaration? No, I have to first declare it, okay? And then only I can use it. नीचे अगर मुझे यूज करना है तो मैं डायरेक्टली इसको यूज करना शुरू कर सकता हूँ? नो, मैं ऐसे डायरेक्टली वैल्यू इसको असाइन नहीं कर सकता. आई होप यू आर इन बिटवीन कंफर्टेबल विद हिंदी because I try to go with multilingual because many times students are not comfortable only listening English. So meantime, somewhere, sometimes in between, I come with the Hindi explanation also. Okay, so I hope it is okay. If not, then I'll restrict myself to English only. So integer x, and then only you can use it. ओके, तो एक तो पहले आपको डिक्लेयर करना पड़ेगा और फिर ही यूज करना है. तो ऐसे लैंग्वेजेस को हम क्या कहते हैं? स्टैटिक टाइप. स्टैटिक टाइप मीन्स यू हैव टू डिक्लेयर द वेरिएबल एंड टेल इट्स डेटा टाइप एट द टाइम ऑफ कंपाइलेशन ओनली. कंपाइलेशन के समय ही इसका डेटा टाइप अनाउंस करना है एंड फिर ही उसको यूज करना शुरू कर सकते हो. बट द लैंग्वेज इन विच देयर इज नो कंसेप्ट ऑफ डिक्लेरेशन लाइक दिस, no need to declare and give the data type and all. You can directly assign the value. And what value you have assigned will decide its data type. जो वैल्यू असाइन किया उससे उसका डेटा टाइप इन्फर होगा. इन्फर, इन्फर में समझा, इससे तय किया जाएगा. तो 20 होल नंबर है, ऑटोमेटिक इंट. डबल कोट राम लिखा है, ऑटोमेटिक स्ट्रिंग बन जाएगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? So that is the specialty that in JavaScript no concept of declaration. हाँ, बट अभी मॉडर्न जावा कहता है कि आप एटलीस्ट लेट या कॉन्स्ट या वेयर से अनाउंस करो. बट अनाउंस में भी आप डेटा टाइप नहीं बता रहे. डेटा टाइप रन टाइम ही तय होगा. किस पे? जो वैल्यू आप उसको असाइन करोगे. What value you assign, based on that the data type is decided. And the data type is decided at what time? Run time. एग्जीक्यूशन के समय ही इसका डेटा टाइप तय होगा. कंपाइलेशन के समय ही अनाउंस कंसेप्ट नहीं है. इसलिए इसको डायनामिक टाइप करेंगे. Getting? Whereas Java doesn't come under that category. Okay. So why we should call it as dynamic type? Because no concept of variable declaration. Directly you can start using the variable and you can start assigning the value. Don't bother about what type is given, or don't bother. Runtime, what value you assign, that will decide its data type. जो वैल्यू आपने असाइन किया वो उसका डेटा टाइप तय करेगा. कब? रन टाइम. इसलिए इसको डायनामिक टाइप कहते हैं. ठीक है. पाइथन ऑल्सो फॉलोज द सेम रूल, पीएचपी ऑल्सो फॉलोज द सेम रूल. हाँ, बट अगर आप टाइप स्क्रिप्ट को जाते हो, टाइप स्क्रिप्ट विच इज अ स्ट्रिक्ट वर्जन ऑफ जावास्क्रिप्ट, एंगुलर यूजेस टाइप स्क्रिप्ट, वहां वैसे रूल्स नहीं. तो वेरिएबल टाइप्स आर डिटरमाइंड डायनामिकली बेस्ड ऑन द वैल्यू असाइंड एट रन टाइम. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग. तो जो वैल्यू वेरिएबल को असाइन करोगे उससे उसका डेटा टाइप तय होगा. क्या वैल्यू आपने उसको असाइन किया है वो क्या डिसाइड करेगा उसका डेटा टाइप. नो कंसेप्ट ऑफ प्रायर डिक्लेरेशन लाइक जावा और सी. ठीक है. इसलिए डायनामिक टाइप. नेक्स्ट इज लूजली टाइप. अभी लूजली टाइप का
अच्छा,
ऑपोजिट होता है. हाँ. यस.
तो जैसे कि अगर डबल कोट में अगर कोई इंटीजर दे, उसको क्या वो स्ट्रिंग में ही कंसिडर करेगा?
यस. गेटिंग. इफ यू असाइन एक्स इक्वल टू डबल कोट राम, ठीक है, और सिंगल कोट भी
हम्म,
करो वो स्ट्रिंग ही है, क्योंकि जावास्क्रिप्ट के पास कैर एंड स्ट्रिंग अलग नहीं है, एवरीथिंग इज स्ट्रिंग. तो एक्स इक्वल टू
ओके।
डबल कोट रन, तो डबल कोट है तो ये ऑटोमेटिक स्ट्रिंग बन गया. इट हैज बिकम ऑफ स्ट्रिंग टाइप. इसका टाइप स्ट्रिंग है. ठीक है. एक्स इक्वल टू 20 होल नंबर है तो वो इंट बनेगा. तो डोंट वरी, डेटा टाइप सीखेंगे. अभी सिर्फ इतना याद रखना है, जो वैल्यू असाइन किया है, उससे उसका डेटा टाइप तय होता है. और ये डेटा टाइप कब तय होगा? रन टाइम. आपको पहले ही अनाउंस नहीं करना है. जैसे जावा में कंपाइलेशन के समय ही वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर करना पड़ता है, उसी समय उसका डेटा टाइप अनाउंस करना है. नथिंग लाइक दैट. ठीक है. देन लूजली टाइप, इसका ऑपोजिट होता है स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप. लूजली टाइप, स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप. जावा इज अ स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप एंड जावा इज अ स्टैटिक टाइप. स्टैटिक टाइप, स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप. पाइथन जावास्क्रिप्ट इज डायनामिक टाइप, लूजली टाइप. अभी लूजली टाइप मींस क्या? तो इम्प्लिसिट ही टाइप कन्वर्जन खुद ही कर लेगा. इट विल डू द टाइप कन्वर्जन ऑन इट्स ओन एज नीडेड. गेटिंग? हाँ. इट इज, यू कैन से गुड भी बैड भी है. कभी कभी अनएक्सपेक्टेड या कुछ वियर्ड रिजल्ट्स भी आ जाते हैं. तो वो प्रो भी है, कॉन्स भी है. हर चीज को सिर्फ प्रॉन्स हो ही नहीं सकता है. मैं दुनिया में ऐसे कोई भी चीज नहीं बना है वो सिर्फ मेरिट से बना है, उसके पास कोई डीमेरिट नहीं है. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है. everything which is created will have some drawbacks. ये नहीं? तो कुछ ना कुछ तो ड्रॉबैक्स है ही. तो लूजली का एक बेनिफिट क्या है कि वो ही वेरिएबल टाइमली अपना डेटा टाइप चेंज कर सकता है. देखो, अभी मैंने x इक्वल टू 20 दिया था, तो उसका डेटा टाइप तय हो गया इंट. बट थोड़े देर बाद उसी वेरिएबल में मैंने डबल कोट राम स्टोर किया. automatic, the same variable has become now string. Same variable. इसलिए लूजली टाइप. वो टाइप कन्वर्जन रन टाइम खुद ही कर लेता है. गेटिंग? तो अभी 20 असाइन किया है, इसका डेट टाइप इंट है. थोड़ी देर बाद स्ट्रिंग दिया, उसका डेट उसी वेरिएबल का डेटा टाइप स्ट्रिंग चेंज हो गया. दिस
तो
इज इम्पॉसिबल. हाँ.
या हेलो जी, तो फिर वो क्या बोलते हैं वेरिएबल, मतलब कि सेम वेरिएबल नेम नहीं ना हो सकता फिर, अगर स्ट्रिंग और इंट दोनों एक ही में
दैट इज
आ रहे
व्हाट
रहते हैं?
दैट नो दैट इज व्हाट, इसलिए तो इसको लूजली टाइप कहा है.
तो फिर
कि
फाइनल
वही
डेटा
वे
टाइप क्या हो जाएगा?
जो लेटेस्ट वैल्यू है.
और पुराना वाला कैंसिल हो जाएगा?
ओवरराइट. आपने असाइन किया ना तो वो ओवरराइट हो गया,
हाँ।
वो गया, नया वैल्यू आ गया. दैट इज
अच्छा,
व्हाट मेरा.
रीअसाइन हो गया वो।
हाँ हाँ, मेरा काम पूरा एक्सप्लेन नहीं हुआ, उसके पहले
अच्छा।
आपके दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आने
ठीक।
लगे. ठीक है. सी, अब
ठीक।
जावा में कैसे होता है, पहले आपको डिक्लेयर करना ही पड़ेगा. और डिक्लेरेशन के समय आपने क्या अनाउंस किया है? इंट. तो उसके पूरे लाइफ स्पैन में वो इंट ही रहेगा. है ना? दिस प्रिंसिपल आवर पॉलिटिशियन शुड फॉलो. है ना? मरने तक. एक बार उन्होंने एक्स पार्टी ज्वाइन की तो मरने तक वो उसी पार्टी में रहना चाहिए, बट ऐसा नहीं होता है. दैट इज द दुर्भाग्य म्हणते हैं ना अपन, वी से इट इज द pathetic थिंग. int x. So now we are declaring that x as integer. Throughout its life, it is integer. In which languages? Strict type language like Java और C. अभी आपने int declare किया ना, तो पूरे लाइफ में उसको int ही दे सकता है. मैं उसको float, थोड़ी देर बाद कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, थोड़ी देर बाद किसी मेरे यूजर डिफाइन का ऑब्जेक्ट, थोड़ी देर बाद अरे, उसी वेरिएबल को ऐसा नहीं असाइन कर सकता हूँ. x इक्वल टू 10 है. थोड़े देर बाद मैंने x इक्वल टू डबल कोट राम, जावा एरर देगा यहाँ. It will say it is an integer variable. How can you assign a string? Because it's a strict type language. But Python is the JavaScript is a loosely type. क्यों? क्योंकि इसमें डेटा टाइप रन टाइम तय होता है, डिक्लेरेशन का कंसेप्ट ही नहीं है. तो जो वैल्यू आप असाइन करोगे वो उसका डेटा टाइप है. तो नाउ आई हैव असाइंड होल नंबर. अभी फिलहाल इसका डेटा टाइप इंट है. थोड़े देर बाद, जो मैंने कहा ना कि अपने पॉलिटिशियंस के हर इलेक्शन में अलग अलग जगह पे उड़ी मारते रहते हैं, बट एवरीवन इज नॉट लाइक दैट. यू कैन नॉट ब्लेम टू ऑल पॉलिटिशियंस. सम आर लॉयल आल्सो. करेक्ट? यस और नो? एग्जांपल, नमो एंड रागा. भले वो अपोजिट पार्टी है, बट वो लॉयल है अपनी पार्टी को. राइट और नो? एटलीस्ट यहाँ से वहां उड़ी तो नहीं मारते वो लोग. ओके, जोक्स अपार्ट. एक्स इक्वल टू 10. थोड़े देर बाद एक्स इक्वल टू डबल कोट राम. यही वेरिएबल अपना डेटा टाइप चेंज कर चुका है. अभी इसमें राम आया, वो 10 गया, द 10 इज लॉस्ट, एंड नाउ व्हाट हैज कम? राम. नाउ इट्स डेटा टाइप इज स्ट्रिंग, एंड दैट इज द रीजन इट्स कॉल्ड लूजली टाइप. एंड इतना ही नहीं, बहुत टाइम एक्सप्रेशंस में भी वो खुद ही कास्टिंग कर लेता है. जैसे एग्जांपल देता हूं कि आपने लिखा है डबल कोट 10, ठीक है, प्लस 10. अभी एक तो स्ट्रिंग है और एक तो नंबर है. अभी वियर्ड लगता है ना कि स्ट्रिंग एंड नंबर में एडिशन कैसे होगा. नो प्रॉब्लम. जावास्क्रिप्ट क्या करता है, ये नंबर को खुद ही स्ट्रिंग में कन्वर्ट कर देता है. पीएचपी में जाओगे तो ये स्ट्रिंग नंबर बनता है. ऐसे हर एक लैंग्वेज के अपने. माय थीसिस इज ऑन दैट ओनली, इवोल्यूशन ऑफ लैंग्वेजेस सिंस 1950. यानी 1950 से कितने लैंग्वेजेस है उसका इवोल्यूशन पे ही मैंने मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन किया हुआ है. तो डबल कोट 10 प्लस 10 था. एक इंटीजर है और एक स्ट्रिंग है. ये जावास्क्रिप्ट ने ऑटोमेटिक ये नंबर को स्ट्रिंग बना दिया और फिर इन दोनों को कॉन्कैट किया और आपको स्ट्रिंग 101 लाके दिया. तो ये सब खुद हो रहा है ना इंटरनली. इसलिए इसको क्या कहते हैं? लूजली टाइप. बट अगर स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप रहता तो ये एरर देता था. इट वुड हैव सेड दैट इट इज इलीगल टू डू एडिशन बिटवीन अ स्ट्रिंग एंड अ नंबर. एक नंबर और एक स्ट्रिंग में एडिशन करना अलाउड नहीं, ऐसा एरर देता था. बट लूजली टाइप है तो खुद ही कास्टिंग कर लिया, 10 को स्ट्रिंग बना दिया, दो स्ट्रिंग ज्वाइन कर लिए, एंड ये नंबर आ जाता है. राइट? तो आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग. ओके? या जैसे एक फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट वैल्यू है और एक इंटीजर है, तो ऑटोमेटिक ये इंटीजर को फ्लोटिंग बना देता है एंड फिर इन दोनों को ऐड करके फ्लोट आंसर आ जाएगा. ठीक है? तो इसलिए हम उसको क्या कहते हैं? लूजली टाइप. आई होप it is clear. No need to elaborate now too much. Okay. So allows for implicit type conversion, making it more forgiving but potentially error prone. I said, no, sometimes you may get some weird answers or unexpected answers. Why? Because instead of giving error, it has done on its own conversion. खुद ही किया है. हम मराठी में उसको अगावपना कहते हैं. मीन्स बहुत ज्यादा क्या बोलते हैं, हिंदी में हम शहानपना बोल सकते हैं. शहानपना भी हमारा मराठी वर्ड ही है, आई गेस. इसको अप्रोप्रिएट हिंदी वर्ड यू नीड टू फाइंड. जो बहुत ज्यादा होशियारी दिखाता है ना, वैसे. तो ये कभी कभी खुद की होशियारी दिखा देता है. डबल कोट 10 प्लस 10, खुद ही 10 को डबल कोट 10 बना दिया, दोनों को ज्वाइन किया और 1010 स्ट्रिंग लाके दिया. कह रहे हैं? तो इसलिए कभी कभी आउटपुट्स कुछ अनएक्सपेक्टेड आ सकते हैं. एंड लास्ट इज जनरल purpose. Okay, so general purpose means it is the feature of today's JavaScript. 2026 का JavaScript अगर हम बोलते हैं तो हम बहुत appropriately कह सकते हैं कि JavaScript is general purpose. But when I started learning JavaScript, Okay, 25 years back, I can tell you. So that time it was only for making web interactive. That was only the application of JavaScript. And that time it was only client side. After the invention of server side JavaScript and all, then it has become a complete full stack JavaScript. You can write server side, client side, both. Okay. So JavaScript you can use for writing server side services, client side handling also you can do. You can do मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस नेटिव रिएक्ट वगैरह दिया है उससे आप मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस बना सकते हैं मशीन लर्निंग में घुसा हुआ है आईओटी में है उसके भी अप्रोप्रिएट लाइब्रेरीज है डेस्कटॉप एप्लीकेशंस बना सकते हो गेम्स बना सकते हो इतने सारे एरियाज हैं जहां जावास्क्रिप्ट पेनिट्रेट हुआ है इट इज कंपीटिंग विथ पाइथन रिमेंबर जैसे पाइथन इज इन एमएल जावास्क्रिप्ट ने भी अपने अपने लाइब्रेरीज बनाए हैं ना TensorFlow, TensorFlow.js, okay, then transistors.js, काफी सारे JS है जो मशीन लर्निंग के लिए बने हैं डेस्कटॉप एप्लीकेशन electron.js जो डेस्कटॉप UI एप्लीकेशंस बना सकते हो गेटिंग नॉर्मल HTML कैनवा वगैरह या बेबीलियन वगैरह वो यूज करके आप लोग गेम्स बना सकते हो तो कितने एरियाज में जावास्क्रिप्ट पेनिट्रेट हुआ है getting now it is your domain which domain you want to enter you have to decide so use for a wide range of applications like web development which is the main role सबसे सबसे मेन एप्लीकेशन यही है और आगे भी यही रहेगा बट बाकी एरियाज में भी पेनिट्रेट हुआ है लाइक इट हैज गॉन इन मोबाइल एप्स डेस्कटॉप एप्स गेम डेवलपमेंट सर्वर साइड स्क्रिप्टिंग यूजिंग Node.js, you can proper do database connectivity. You can write microservices on the server side, and then you can call those APIs through React applications. Getting? तो इतने सारे चीजें हैं जहां JavaScript penetrate हुआ है. Getting? So I hope because of this we should call that JavaScript is high level, interpreted, okay, multi-paradigm, general purpose, dynamic type, loosely typed programming language. Okay. Now, why to learn JavaScript? But before that, just can you give me quick confirmation? All the six things are clear to you? High level, interpreted, general purpose, multi-paradigm, loosely typed, dynamic type.
Yes.
Dynamic type means
Yes.
no
Yes.
need of declaration, no need to declare. What value you assign, that decides its data type. And loosely typed means runtime, it can change its data type. Runtime typecasting takes place. Okay. Now, why to learn JavaScript? Obviously, when you are diving into that field, you should know some good things about it. No? Correct. So, one main thing is you don't need any special softwares, especially if you are doing client side JavaScript, your browser is sufficient because the JavaScript engine is already incorporated in that browser. In the browser only that JavaScript engine is there. And if you need server side, you can install that node, which is freely available, open source है, freeware है, download करो, install करो. And you can write server side part also. Correct? तो एक तो उसमें प्राइमरी कंपाइलेशन का झंझट नहीं है स्क्रिप्ट लिखो और वो ब्राउजर खुद ही ब्राउजर के इंजन ही उसको इंटरप्रेट करेगा और आउटपुट मिल जाता है गेटिंग एंड मेनली यूज फॉर dynamic websites, but it has penetrated in many fields. Big support है, meaning internet पे काफी सारे forums JavaScript के लिए available है. And if you have a problem, you can enter into that forum and you can ask. वो एक इसका main advantage है. तो काफी सारे features है. No need of compilers as we need it for other languages. कुछ स्पेशल सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करना नहीं है ब्राउजर तो हर एक के पास होता ही है तो ब्राउजर के अंदर ही इंजन है जस्ट राइट द स्क्रिप्ट योर ब्राउजर विल ओनली एक्चुअली ब्राउजर नहीं ब्राउजर के अंदर ही एक इंजन होता है जिसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू इंटरप्रेट योर स्क्रिप्ट ओके इट इज नाउ फॉर टुडेज डे इट इज अवेलेबल क्लाइंट साइड एंड सर्वर साइड एक टाइम था जब बोलते थे कि जावास्क्रिप्ट इज ओनली client-side scripting language, but no more that feature. Both side you can use. Helps to build a complete solution. Why? Because it is available client-side, server-side. So using server-side JavaScript, you can write your services like login service, registration service, getting on a payment service. Like if you are implementing a complete e-commerce website, so a checkout service is there, display cart service. So all these services and these each services are connecting with a database also, with your MySQL or whatever database management. So you can write that and then you can pull those APIs, those services which you have written. You can talk with those APIs through GET, POST, many types of HTTP requests are there through your client UI. And client UI is using React framework. So through React framework, you can interact with the server-side services. Those services will give you some output. You can collect it and show it to the end user. Okay. So because of that, you can say you can build a complete full stack application using only one language. Okay. And used everywhere. You can use it for developing websites, for games, for mobile apps, React Native वगैरह ये mobile apps के लिए है. Then huge community support है, okay, and high demand in market. You can even ask to ChatGPT. You can ask to Google the trending 5 topmost language in 2026. You'll get Python and JavaScript at the first rank. The top पे मिलेंगे, getting and highly demand in the market. So these are all the features which are in favor of why to learn JavaScript. Okay, I hope it is clear, right? Then quickly I'll tell you the history part. Generally, you people are not much interested, but little bit. थोड़ा बहुत history इसका बता देता हूँ, ठीक है? And don't worry about the slides and all. I'll provide you. I'll give you the screenshots of these slides for you to read whenever you want. So sometimes if you're not able to read the slides and all, no problem. I'll give you that. Okay. Main thing you focus on learning, listening. And when the programming part comes, then you have to be very much attentive. Okay. Now, JavaScript, when it has come, who developed it? So around 1995. Around same time, Java also came. Therefore, many people are confused. JavaScript and Java is same. Don't at all keep that concept misconcept. It's a myth. Java is a total different language. JavaScript is completely different. इनका जॉनरे है ना, जॉनर बोलो या जॉनरे, दोनों का वो अलग है. ये टोटल अलग कंसेप्ट पे बना है. ये ओनली इंटरप्रेटेड लैंग्वेज है. वो कंपाइल्ड एंड इंटरप्रेटेड है. ठीक है. उसको रन करने के लिए वीएम लगता है. ये ब्राउजर के अंदर ही रन हो जाएगा. तो बहुत सारी चीज है. ये लूजली टाइप है, वो स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप है, ये डायनामिक टाइप है, वो स्टैटिक टाइप है. इसका मेन एप्लीकेशन वेबसाइट बनाने के लिए था. उसका मेन एप्लीकेशन इज टू कंट्रोल द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस. फिर बाद में वो वेब के लिए आ गया, राइट. बट बाद में उसमें भी मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस एंड वो सब बनने लगा. ओके. तो काफी डिफरेंसेस है, वो हम पढ़ेंगे बाद में. तो who developed it? So Brandon Each, he developed this JavaScript at Netscape Communication. There was one company called Netscape Communication, and they had come with one browser also called Netscape Navigator, famous browser. Our time, हमारे समय हम वो ब्राउजर ही यूज करते थे. अभी वो शायद इतिहास हिस्ट्री में गया. इट हैज बिकम डेप्रिकेटेड आई गेस. तो नेटस्केप नेविगेटर एक ब्राउजर था जो ये नेटस्केप कम्युनिकेशन ये कंपनी ने बनाया था. एंड इन दैट कंपनी ओनली ब्रैंडन ईच वाज देयर. ही डिजाइन दिस लैंग्वेज विद इन 10 days. सेम समवॉट हिस्ट्री पाइथन का भी है. गिडो रसम उसने भी एक हफ्ता क्रिसमस के हॉलीडेज में वो पाइथन बना दिया था. सो he created. That was the first version of JavaScript. Okay, 1995, origin of JavaScript. Brandon Each developed JavaScript at Netscape Communication in 10 days. Okay, initially they had given some name. It was called as LiveScript. I think first it was called as Mocha. Then it was called as LiveScript. Then there was some copyright issue. Getting? And meantime, JavaScript was taken over by Sun Microsystem. And Sun Microsystem ने ही क्या बनाया है? जावा. जावा लैंग्वेज किन्होंने बनाया? सन माइक्रोसिस्टम. और उन्होंने ही किसको टेक ओवर किया? ये जावास्क्रिप्ट को. तो अभी ये सन माइक्रो सिस्टम वालों को उनका वर्ड जावा कहीं तो मार्केटिंग होना चाहिए ना, इसलिए फिर वो जावा वर्ड उसको अटैच किया. इनिशियली इट वाज मेड बाय दिस पीपल ओनली, बट फिर इसको किन्होंने टेक ओवर किया? फिर सन माइक्रो सिस्टम वालों को किन्होंने टेक ओवर किया? ओरेकल. गेटिंग ऑन? तो सन माइक्रो सिस्टम टेकन ओवर. फिर इन्होंने उन्होंने जब इसको टेकन ओवर किया है, तो फिर उनके प्रोडक्ट में कहीं ना कहीं तो वो जावा वर्ड आना चाहिए ना, इसलिए उन्होंने वर्ड जावा अटैच किया. करेक्ट? तो नेमिंग टाइमलाइन है जावास्क्रिप्ट. इनिशियली इट वाज कॉल्ड एज मोका, देन इट वाज कॉल्ड एज जावास्क्रिप्ट, then it was renamed to Java, then it was called as LiveScript. From LiveScript to JavaScript. JavaScript कब आया? When this company was taken over by Sun Microsystem. एंड फिर सन माइक्रोसिस्टम को क्या लगा कि इसके साथ हमारा जावा भी फेमस हो जाएगा, या जावा के वजह से ये फेमस हो जाएगा, तो इसलिए वर्ड जावा ये ट्रेडमार्क यहां लगा दिया. यू कैन सी सन के वेबसाइट पे भी फिर अभी ओरेकल लगता है ना. पहले सन के सर्टिफिकेशंस एससीजेपी आता था, अभी ओसीजेपी आता है. राइट? तो एंड एवरीवेयर देयर ओरेकल लोगो दे हैव बम्बार्ड. तो क्यों? क्योंकि बाद में ओरेकल ने सन को टेक ओवर किया. राइट? तो आई होप till here it is clear, right? Then there was some need of standardization. ये जावास्क्रिप्ट के लिए ना कुछ स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन की जरूरत थी. क्यों? बिकॉज these JavaScript were interpreted in what? Browser only. So that time, whatever browsers were there in the market, they came with their new version of browser. आना ही पड़ेगा ना, क्योंकि अगर उनके ब्राउजर में जब जावास्क्रिप्ट आया ही नहीं था, तो जो ब्राउजर्स रहेंगे मार्केट में, करेक्ट, वर दे हैविंग इंजन टू रन दिस जावास्क्रिप्ट? नो. करेक्ट? तो ब्राउजर वन एक कंपनी का है, एक दूसरा ब्राउजर है दूसरे अलग कंपनी का. तो जावास्क्रिप्ट ही नहीं था, तो इसके अंदर एक जावास्क्रिप्ट इंजन था क्या इनकॉर्पोरेटेड? Was there a JavaScript engine to run the JavaScript? No. So they were older version browsers. So those browser making companies were supposed to come with a new version browser in which what will be incorporated? That JavaScript engine. So they came. Many browser making companies, they came with a new version browser in which JavaScript was incorporated. But what was happening? Different company browsers were not following some standards. Means some features of JavaScript were not working in one browser, whereas it was working in another browser. Some incompatibility was there. If you write a JavaScript, so that JavaScript should run in Mozilla also, and in Google Chrome also, and in Opera also. There was no standardization because every browser making company, when they were making JavaScript engine, they were not implementing all the features. Some features were not there, or naming rules, some operators features, some features were working differently in different browsers. So there was some standardization needed. And for creating the standardization, one committee was formed that was called as ECMA, European Computer Manufacturing Association. Okay, so it is like we have na ISO standards and all. जैसे अपने यहाँ कंपनीज होता है, स्कूल्स होता है, वो बोलते हैं ना हम आईएसओ सर्टिफाइड है, तो वो आईएसओ ने जो नॉर्म्स दिए वो सब फॉलो करते हैं. तो ऐसी एक ईसीएम एक कमिटी फॉर्म हुई, फिर उन्होंने गाइडलाइंस दिए. गाइडलाइंस लाइक वेरिएबल का नेमिंग कैसे होना चाहिए, क्या क्या डेटा टाइप्स ही होने चाहिए, क्या कंट्रोल स्ट्रक्चर्स होने चाहिए, ऑल दैट गाइडलाइंस. एंड देन ऑल द ब्राउजर मेकिंग कंपनीज in the market should follow that ECMA standards. उन्होंने ये ECMA के गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करके ही इंजन बनानी है और वो इंजन उनके ब्राउजर में इनकॉर्पोरेट करनी है। गेटिंग व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज क्लियर टू यू। तो देखो, एक ईसीएमएस स्क्रिप्ट स्टैंडर्ड, एक कमिटी एस्टैब्लिश हुई। जैसे एचटीएमएल का भी स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होता है ना, एचटीएमएल का स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन किन्होंने किया है? W3C, वर्ल्ड वाइड कॉर्शियम। उन्होंने एचटीएमएल स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाए कि टैग्स कैसे होने चाहिए, हेड टैग, बॉडी टैग एंड सब, फिर ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग, किसको कौन से एट्रीब्यूट्स है, एंड फिर दुनिया के जितने भी ब्राउजर्स हैं उन्होंने वो सब एचटीएमएल के टैग्स फॉलो करने। तो वो W3C, वर्ल्ड वाइड कॉर्शियम का एक स्टैंडर्ड है, राइट? वैसे जावास्क्रिप्ट का स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन इन्होंने बनाया, एंड दैट वाज कॉल्ड एज द फर्स्ट ईसीएमए वर्जन जावास्क्रिप्ट। उसके पहले वो नेटस्केप की जावास्क्रिप्ट मानी जाती थी, कह रहे हैं? फिर ये स्टैंडर्ड के बाद हम कहने लगे कि दैट इज फर्स्ट वर्जन ऑफ ईएस। ईएस में समझा ना, ईसीएमए की स्क्रिप्टिंग। तो ES6, ES5 ऐसे जो आता है, ठीक है? तो फर्स्ट ईसीएमए स्क्रिप्ट स्टैंडर्ड इज पब्लिश। ओके, फिर इसका एक थोड़ा सम अगला वर्जन आ गया, दैट इज ECMA 3। उसको हम क्या कहेंगे? ES3। मेरी बुक्स में उसको सिर्फ ES3 लिखा रहता है। ओके, इसमें थोड़े और फीचर्स ऐड हुए, बिकम्स द वाइडली स्टेबल स्टैंडर्ड। ये बन गया स्टेबल स्टैंडर्ड। जैसे जावा के भी लॉन्ग टर्म सपोर्ट होता है, जैसे बहुत देर तक 8 था, फिर अभी 17 है, ऐसे उसके अगला वाला भी है, एक लॉन्ग टर्म सपोर्ट का वर्जन है। So this was assumed to be the long-term support standard, okay, and adopted foundation for nearly a decade, and that was called as the ES3। फिर बहुत समय तक इसमें कुछ न्यू फीचर्स ऐड नहीं हो रहे थे, यही स्टैंडर्ड नियरली सब ब्राउजर्स फॉलो कर रहे थे। ओके, जस्ट 5 minutes मोर यू कैन गिव मी, राइट? तो दैट वाज देयर। बट उसके बाद एक 10 साल तक जावास्क्रिप्ट फेलियर था। मीन्स इट वाज नॉट कमिंग विद अ न्यू वर्जन। फिर एक ES4 आ गया, बट टोटली अ फेलियर वर्जन, लॉस्ट डेकेड कहा जाता है, द लॉस्ट डेकेड। ES4 आ गया, फेल्स, एंड स्लोइंग द जावास्क्रिप्ट इवोल्यूशन। तो जावास्क्रिप्ट थोड़ा मार्केट में पीछे हटने लगा, एंड सम अदर लैंग्वेजेस स्टार्टेड कमिंग इनटू द फोकस, या बैकफुट पे ये चला गया और वो फ्रंट पे आने लगा। फ्रंट फुट पे वो लैंग्वेजेस आने लगे, गेटिंग? बट एनीवे, इनकी जो टीम है ये चुप तो बैठेगी नहीं। तो दे केम विथ वन वर्जन कॉल्ड एज ES5। ES5, एंड उसमें थोड़े फीचर्स ऐड किए, लाइक न्यू फीचर्स दे एडेड, थोड़े अरे के मेथड्स थोड़े बढ़ाए, दे एडेड मेथड्स फॉर अरे क्लास एंड ऑल। तो और भी थोड़े फीचर्स है, आई टेल यू। So that was called as ES5 version. Okay, so it is a modernized JavaScript with a strict mode feature. ये हम देखेंगे जब मॉड्यूल्स वगैरह पढ़ेंगे, तो when we be including the module, one module in another, that time I'll tell you. Then they introduce concept of JSON, JavaScript object notation. तो ये JSON concept क्या है? I'll be telling you, I'll be teaching you, don't worry. फिर array के थोड़े methods ऐड हुए, तो ये इसमें ऐड हुआ। फिर ये होते होते 2015 आ गया। 2015 में भी एक बेंचमार्क सेट किया, दैट वाज कॉल्ड एज ES6, करेक्ट? एंड उसमें भी बहुत सारे और फीचर्स ऐड हुए, करेक्ट? लाइक टोटल, उसके पहले जो क्लासेस बनते थे दैट वाज ऑन अ प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल, बट ये प्रॉपर टेम्पलेट मॉडल पे आ गया, लाइक जावा जैसे कि प्रॉपर क्लास बनाओ, फिर क्लास के कॉपीज बनाओ, करेक्ट? तो क्लासेस कंसेप्ट, मॉड्यूल्स, फंक्शनल प्रोग्रामिंग आ गया। एरो फंक्शन से हम फंक्शनल प्रोग्रामिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं ये बताता हूँ। ओके, प्रोमिसेस, असिंक्रोनस कोडिंग के लिए कैसे प्रोमिसेस की जरूरत पड़ती है। ओके, तो ये एक बेंचमार्क बन गया, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ES6। काफी समय तक ES6 चलते गया, एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स दे आर सेइंग दैट ईयरली रिलीज है, हर ईयर एक अगला वर्जन का जावास्क्रिप्ट आता है। तो दिस पीपल अडॉप्ट ईयरली अपडेट्स, जैसे जावा में हर 6 मंथ में कुछ आता है, लाइक, गेटिंग? I think March and after that some ऐसे वो fix उनका रहता है, correct? So yearly updates, फिर ये async wait, then optional chaining and many more features they introduce. And today they are saying it is taking a market, काफी stable हो चुका है JavaScript and काफी areas में ये penetrate हो गया है. In 2026, JavaScript is one of the most widely used language and core to the web, जो उसका मेन पर्पस था. एकदम बिगिनिंग से जावास्क्रिप्ट का पर्पस है फॉर वेब डेवलपमेंट विच इज टुडे आल्सो एंड इट इज कंटिन्यूइंग टू इवॉल्व एंड इट हैज penetrated in many other areas as well. Getting? So this was a short history. I know for some people you may not think it is short, but anyways, याद रखना initial JavaScript, Brandon Each. Initially, he named Mocha, then LiveScript. Then, meantime, JavaScript was taken over. Netscape was taken over by Sun Microsystem. Therefore, they added that Java word tag because at that same time, Java also had come in the market. Okay, that was called as the initial version, Netscape JavaScript. Then standardization, ECMA. Then they also came with their first standard, then the third version. Then they came with the fourth, which was failure. Then they came with fifth version. Then the sixth version in 2015. That was considered to be the most popular and most long-term support. And afterwards, after every year, the release is coming. And today they are saying JavaScript is nearly everywhere. It has taken or it has nearly penetrated everywhere. Okay? So I hope this part is clear to you. Okay, so you can give me quick confirmation regarding this.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
it
sure
was.
others
Yeah,
also.
got the information correctly.
Okay. Now, in the next session, we will be talking about little bit application areas. Then we will compare JavaScript with Java, and then we will start writing scripts. I'll show you initially how to write script, internal script, external script. Then the elementary things will start, identifiers, keywords, and all those things. Okay, operators and all. Gradually, everything will go line by line. Okay. And by some days, if it is possible, I'll extend 15 minutes, 20 minutes so that we can cover up the whole syllabus. Okay. For today, we will take a pause over here, guys.